Hello, wrestling fans. Hello, creamers. It's me, Hat Joe. And I don't mean to be so forward, but God, I missed you. God, I missed you. Did you miss me back? Did you? Oh, come on. You know what I say to that?
Thank you very much, you motherfucker. Thank you very much, you motherfucker.
But yeah, we're back, and we're going to talk to Turkey like Ted Turner about some wrestling.
What about you? Were you ever tempted to get into the ring?
Not really.
I watched New Japan's Road to New Beginning today, featuring some really good matches, adding to my match count for 2024, which we're also going to talk about. We're also going to talk about Dynamite tonight. All that and more on tonight's episode of and welcome back to the show, you beautiful gals and
Beautiful boy.
So I watched, like I said, I watched New Japan's Road to New Beginning today. It features some very good matches, 7 matches on the card. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Tiger Mask, and it was maybe 11-minute match, but it was very good. Zack Sabre won by submission, but that wasn't the last that we were going to see of him on the show. So the big match of the night, the match that probably everybody's talking about, was the never open weight 6-man tag title match between Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii, defending the titles against TMDK, and Zack Sabre Jr. accompanied them to the ring, of course. Before the match started, there was a lot of chants, before the bell rung, I guess. There was a lot of chants, Okada, 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 from the crowd, because this is the last time Kazuchika Okada is ever going to wrestle in Korakuen Hall. It was a hard-hitting match. It was a very entertaining match. I went into it assuming that Okada, Ishii, and Tanahashi were going to lose the never openweight 6-man tag team championships, but
it just didn't work out.
But yes, it did not work out. Kazuchika Okada, Ishii, and Hiroshi Tanahashi ended up retaining the titles. And after the match, Okada got on the mic. Well, first Okada shook the hand of all the TMDK guys, and he gave a hug to Zack Sabre Jr., who again was there to support his TMDK stablemates. And then he, with tears in his eyes, got on the mic and thanked Korakuen Hall for 17 years of support. And he said that he is going to relinquish the never open weight 6-man tag team championships. So those are now vacated. It was really crazy to see him cry. I'm starting to think he might go to WWE because, the way he's saying goodbye to all these New Japan fans, it just seems like he's not coming back. And if he was in AEW, he would still be able to go there. I feel like I don't really, even though I'm a self-proclaimed WWE hater, I don't mind him going to WWE. It would be very different. I hope that they preserve his legacy there if he goes there. I hope that they treat him like the star he is. He's the ace of New Japan. If he goes to WWE and he's treated just like any other bloke on the roster, that's just going to be a disservice to him and to his years and years of being the top guy of Japan. So yeah, there were 7 matches on the show, but my match count has gone from 66 to 74. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, 66 plus 7 doesn't equal 74, you big old goof. It equals 73. Well, guess what? I also rewatched Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay from Forbidden Door. And just like the first time I watched that match,
I mean, for God's sakes, I came!
it was a freaking barn burner, man. That match is so good. When I first watched it, it was live, and I thought it was great, but I thought the first match that they had at Forbidden Door was better. Watching it again, and I've also recently rewatched the Wrestle Kingdom match when I watched all the Wrestle Kingdoms a few weeks ago, and I gotta say this match is better. This match from Forbidden Door is definitely better. I was wrong. All right, I can admit it. Sometimes you're wrong.
Fat bitch.
I look at it a little differently this time. I mean, when I was watching it live, I was like really, rooting for Kenny. But now that I'm watching it and I already know the result, I'm like more analyzing it, and just the way that Ospreay made himself the heel when the crowd was really split, and the way that Kenny was fighting from underneath like an underdog babyface, even though he had just mauled Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom. Like one of my favorite part of the match is honestly after Will Ospreay stabs Kenny Omega in the head with the screwdriver when he's attempting the one-winged angel, and then I think he hits the Stormbreaker. He pins him, and it's a rope break. The way that it happened was like the crowd for sure thought that was going to be a 3 count, and Kenny's leg sort of just, because the way that Will Ospreay pinned him kind of rocked his body, and so like his leg sort of was knocked, and like momentum brought it over to the rope. It wasn't like necessarily that Kenny was dominant in the situation. It was more like he just the skin of his teeth got the rope break, and the crowd went crazy. It was great. It was amazing, and it's one of the best matches probably I've ever seen. And I was thinking while I was watching it, Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega against each other really reminds me of this generation's version of Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho. Kenny being Shawn Michaels and Ospreay being Chris Jericho, in the sense that you could tell that the influence that the older of the two had on the younger of the two, but they're just so good and they have so much chemistry. It's really like watching Chris Jericho versus Chris Jericho or Shawn Michaels versus Shawn Michaels when you're watching those two wrestle. And this match, it was like watching Kenny Omega versus Kenny Omega or Will Ospreay versus Will Ospreay. It was amazing. It's as much as like a wrestling match of the Flash versus the Reverse Flash as you could possibly get.
Run, Barry, run!
We've also got AEW Dynamite tonight. We're going to hear from the AEW World Champion Samoa Joe. We've got Wardlow versus Trent Beretta. Thunder Rosa versus Red Velvet. We're going to hear from Darby and Sting. We've got the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass defending the trios titles against Mogul Embassy. We've got a face-to-face interview of Deonna Purrazzo and Toni Storm. Penta versus Hangman. Jeez. Penta versus Hangman is on TV tonight. Go watch it. What are you looking at me for? Go watch it. We've got Jeff Hardy versus Swerve Strickland. Another what match? And then we've got Minoru Suzuki versus Adam Copeland. I repeat, we've got Minoru Suzuki versus Adam Copeland. If you would have asked me 6 months ago, I would say that match is obviously never going to happen. It's just not. That's like seeing a Marvel character versus a DC character. That's just not going to happen. But here we are. We've got it, folks. So tonight's Dynamite's going to be stacked. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. I've been thinking about maybe doing I might do a review show tomorrow if you guys want me to. In fact, now that I said it on the show, I basically have to do it or you'll unsubscribe, right? Tell me, comment below and say, Hot Joe, if you don't do a review show for Dynamite tomorrow, I'm going to unsubscribe. And you know what I'll tell you? I'll tell you what?
We'll slap those stupid glasses off your face and whoop your ass. Do you understand me?
Just kidding. I would never do that because you're my love. You're my light. Anyways, folks, it was great having you on the show. Until next time, I love you. You stay cute, creamers.
There's one fat bitch holding a rag doll.